tatta dhim tatakita dhim tadim tattam.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Padma, and on this channel I share with you the practice and philosophy of body-led spiritual inquiry. I'm inspired by ancient traditions from my culture, which is India, especially those that focus on nature and the divine feminine or goddess-led philosophies. In this video, I'm going to share with you a very simple and foundational practice of this tradition. It is the practice that is associated with the invocation of the sensation or the domain of the cave, which is called guha in Sanskrit. In many ancient ritual practices, which are body-led, the domain of the cave is a very important aspect of the practice constellation. So in some ways, this was quite literal, that many of these rituals were actually performed in caves, and people actually had to go to the caves to participate in these rituals. But there is also a way in which it is about invoking the guha or the cave in the body itself. And there were many things about the physicality that brought us into this experience. The cave is a space of darkness, of mystery, of the unknown, but the cave is also equally associated with the depths. There is something in the cave which actually doesn't quite come in the meaning of the cave. When we just say the cave, it may not actually mean something that is also about the depths. But in the practice, it is both a sense of that retreating, moving into the cave, but it is at the same time also something about the depths, the darkness and the depths. So this is not something that is only about fear and terror and the unconscious, because we have to be very careful when we use these words, especially in the Western context, because so much of the practice of the depths has become about unconscious, which is a very different thing. It's become about those kind of primeval drives that actually overwhelm us and take us into difficult places. But that is not what we are invoking here. This has a very different flavor, and there is this challenge of translating things between languages and cultures. So we always have to keep ourselves a little bit mindful of the nuances. When we speak about the cave here, we are speaking, as I said, about that experience of allowing ourselves to connect into the weight and that attachment and the attraction of gravity of the earth, but also at the same time that movement which is away from just what we see with the mind, what we see when our senses are conditional, which means our senses are only given meaning because I see something and it's beautiful, because I have a certain story about beauty and it matches that story. This is about the unconditionality of sensation, which happens when, literally, if you think about it, when you're in a dark cave and you really can't see, you're still seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting, but it is just that it's not attached to any external objects or stimuli. It is that kind of unconditional sensation, and that is the realm of a body-led or a dance inquiry. So this is a very simple practice, and it's a beautiful practice to enjoy, to find that space of unconditional sensation in your lives. So it's literally about walking. Really, the basis of it is walking. So let's start by just walking forward and backwards. So we walk as we do normally, we just walk forwards, and then we allow ourselves to walk backwards. And as we do this, I'm going to invite you to notice the difference in your sensation, in your presence, in your attention. How do you feel when you walk back? What's the difference in feeling when you walk backwards? And again, being present to this, attending. What's that? What's the taste of this? I'm going to invite you to not worry about words. Don't try and translate that experience into words at all. Just taste it for yourself. You don't need to speak to somebody about it. It's just tasting it for yourself. So for me, for example, when I walk forward, I have a much more certain about it. There's a different sort of speed to the movement. There's a different flow to the movement. And then when I walk backwards, there's much more uncertainty. There's much more instability. The flow is of a different kind. I almost have this bit of a letting go to happen. I've got to kind of trust the backward domain. I mean, I'm here, I'm more sure. I feel like I have much more agency. I have much more knowledge here. I know where I'm going. I can see where I'm going. And when I go back, I don't quite know. I've sort of got to trust. Maybe I have to drag my foot. Of course, when you're in a space that's known, it's different. So try this in different kind of spaces where you might have to drag your foot along the ground in order to trust as you go backwards, to make sure there are no holes. And then you can also change the trajectory. You know, you can go forward in one direction and then you change so that, you know, your body isn't saying, oh yeah, I got this because I moved forward and so I sort of know what the ground is like. So you can try different combinations of this movement. And then the next time you go back, I'm going to invite you to just make the lower body a bit heavy. So I'll show you a way of doing this. So put some stones in your hips as if you're going to sit on a chair. And that will automatically make you slightly heavier on your heels. You can even lift the front of the feet a little bit off the floor, as if you're just about to sit on a chair, rolling that weight back. And now put that into the retreat. So again, we come forward, and as we retreat, we go to that sitting on the chair, heavy heels, and it's like there is a magnet that's pulling those stones back. And I'm going to really invite you to be careful that we don't go into passivity this way. We're not going into passivity, but we are trying to engage that retreating momentum with presence. So we do have a role to play here. We're not just simply being sucked and falling into the cave, but we are connecting to the pull of the cave, but also still maintaining our effort. So it's that beautiful co-creation movement. So I'm still present. I still feel my agency. I'm not making the movement happen fully, but I have a role to play in this retreating movement. And I'm very present, and I have a role to play in this movement. I'm not passive. I'm not falling in. I'm just at the point where I don't fall in, but I can allow that to bring me, with my presence and agency, into that cave. Really taste that flavor of that movement. It's a beautiful flavor, that movement. This is the intelligence of co-creation. So allow it. Keep the eyes open. Keep the ears open. All our senses are alive. We are not surrendering to it. We are moving with that pull. We are moving with. We are co-creating with. We are collaborating with. Our energy is moving with the energy and momentum of that in our own bodies. The weight connecting to the momentum, the gravity, the attachment, the depths in our own bodies. This is the rasa, the flavor or the taste of co-creation. And it's very subtle. It's not something that you can record it as a template and say, if I do this, this, and this, and this, it's going to happen, because our bodies are different in each moment. Everything is different. Our consciousness, our bodies, what's going on for us, how we're going to do this is going to be so different in each moment that it's always requires our energy and presence to be in that co-creative intelligence. So this is not a passive surrender, but it is a very active, collaborative, co-creative intelligence. I hope that you will enjoy this enlivening and intelligent practice, and I feel that it will bring you to a sensation of what is co-creation, which is really very difficult for the mind to come to that really subtle sensation. And that is the gift of this body-led intelligence of this dance tradition. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing your company again on this channel.